What's up and welcome back to the channel. I'm back on YouTube after far too long of a break with a new video on a MOC that some of you may recognize. My custom Rock Raiders Heavy Crawler. Now, this is something I made a short about over a year ago, and while it only got a couple hundred views back then, it's been getting a lot more attention over time, which is not really typical for my other YouTube shorts. So I wanted to make a regular YouTube video on this build so I could dig deeper, if you will, and go into some more detail. I first built this vehicle at least 10 years ago, and clearly since it has remained intact, it's always been one of my favorite custom builds. I wasn't old enough to collect Rock Raider sets as a kid, but I learned about these sets a long time ago through my friend's older brother, who had a pretty much complete Rock Raiders collection, and I always thought it was just the absolute coolest LEGO theme. As I mentioned in my short, when I designed this vehicle, my goal was to make it look like an official Rock Raiders set, so I basically used every single Rock Raiders exclusive element and print that I had, and of course, every teal LEGO piece in my collection. To me, LEGO teal is just an iconically 90s color, and that's mostly due to Rock Raiders. There's not a ton of teal elements in Rock Raiders sets. I think the amount that you see here is pretty typical from the official sets as well, but it just pops so much against the yellow and the dark gray, and it really just completes the entire look of Rock Raiders, and I think gives it a lot more playfulness and personality instead of just being all dark colors. Something I find kind of funny and a little bit sad now is that at the time that I built this, teal was a long retired LEGO color, so the teal parts you see here in this build were seriously every single teal part that I owned. But I also used one of my very favorite LEGO colors, transparent neon green, and now that color has been retired by LEGO. I've been pretty sad about the discontinuation of the neon transparent colors by LEGO, like the transparent neon green that you see here, and transparent neon orange, like you see a lot of in the old Ice Planet sets. So I'm sad that they're gone, but I think the fact that teal had been retired for so long and then came back in about 2017, 2018, I think that gives some hope that hopefully someday we'll get transparent neon green and transparent neon orange back in the LEGO palette, because I love these colors. I mean, you can see, especially in the kind of darker cargo hold that I have here, how much they just pop from the littlest bit of light that catches them. So that will always be one of my favorite colors. And these colors are especially awesome under a black light. So maybe someday I'll have to do a video showcasing some transparent neon colors under a black light. But yeah, I've really been just so pleased and grateful with all the really nice comments I've been getting on the short that I made about this build last year. I really wasn't expecting it. Like I said, when I first posted that video, it only got a couple hundred views, and I got a couple nice comments at the time. I know that Rock Raiders fans are really devout followers, and they love the theme because it's so unique and awesome. But yeah, I just wasn't expecting the video to kind of have a resurgence in the way that it has. So that short is, I think, about 2,500 views now, and it just gets more and more every day, and it just really makes me happy. I really appreciate everybody's nice comments. So yeah, so I wanted to show this in some more detail to show my appreciation to everybody who's been enjoying that short. So I'm just going to take it apart a little bit. This big trough, kind of dump truck piece, is from Rock Raiders. I think this was in a couple different Rock Raiders sets. So again, when I built this, I had to use everything I possibly could that was just like screaming Rock Raiders to me. And then these prints, I believe these are from the old LEGO Star Wars AT-ST set, the original AT-ST from 99. And I kind of envisioned that this thing would kind of pull up to the Rock Raiders base or main, processing facility, and then you could have some sort of crane with like a magnet attachment come down and grab this with a magnet and lift it out. So that's what this is supposed to be, some kind of giant magnetic surface. In the back, you can see I have these 2x3 teal slopes with these cool prints on them. These are also from Rock Raiders, and I didn't really have a great spot to put them otherwise, so they're a little bit hidden back here. but I had to use them, of course. They're just like these cool vent parts, and it just gives it a little bit more visual interest when the container is not on the back. Inside the cargo hold, it's a little bit difficult to see in there. I think it's a big enough opening that you can easily reach in and fit a figure in there. You can kind of open up these containers a little bit. They're more so just for show, but you could open that up and put a crystal in there or something. These ones are a lot easier to open up. I tried as best I could with this build to use all of the classic shades of brown and gray. For those of you who don't know, in 2004, LEGO retired their original formulas for brown, light gray, and dark gray, and a couple other colors, I believe, and updated them. So the grays that we have now are referred to as bluish grays, and this kind of traditional brown color that you see in LEGO sets now is known as reddish brown. So this canopy part is an original brown, and both of these ladder parts that I used for the hatch of the cargo bay are also classic brown. I'm not 100% sure about all of the grays in here. I know I tried my best. There might be a couple structural pieces that are, new gray instead of old gray. Those are really subtle color changes, but it's something that I think fans would notice in particular, and they do make up, some of the character of the color palette in Rock Raiders. I love these headlights. I've always been really happy with this design, but as you can see, these pop off really easily, and if I were to change this build, I would probably try and find some way to make that a more secure connection. I think they give it a really cool kind of like animalistic look. It sort of evokes, like a slug or something. So I think it matches Rock Raiders perfectly. And I'll show off the cockpit a little bit more. So it's got like the big wheel piece. I'm not sure if this element goes back to the time of Rock Raiders or not. It might be a little bit later, from like the early 2000s. But this is definitely a very 2000s LEGO piece here. Much bigger and beefier than your typical LEGO steering wheel, and then it just has a regular bar connection on there for these larger wheel pieces. With a vehicle this large and heavy, I felt like it needed a really serious, beefy steering wheel to control this thing, so that's why I went with this bigger one. And then the controls inside, pretty basic. Got a little gear shifter here, pressure gauge on top, and then some buttons and controls. I imagine that these would be for maybe engaging the connection to lock this in place on the vehicle. All imaginary, but just kind of basic controls for opening the cockpit, opening the cargo hatch, and releasing the container on the back. And then just a regular black LEGO chair inside to match the one that's in the cargo hold as well. I'm going to take this off to show this off in a little bit more detail. This is another older element that I think it's retired. I don't know when I last saw this in a newer set. So I would say this is definitely a retired element, but this is something you used to see in cockpits of spaceships and stuff pretty often. Great for mounting, like some of those motorcycle handles with a 1x1 clip on the top there. But this was good for me just to get this gear shifter in at an angle where it's next to, above, and kind of in front of this this minifigure seat. So it's a good angle when you have a minifigure sitting in there. It's a good angle to get them to be able to grab onto the shifter, which I like a lot. Yeah, and then a big orange button for something. I think that's my only trans neon orange part in here, but like I said, I love the transparent neons, so I had to get something in there for that. As I showed in the short as well, if you take the wheels off, there's nice open space here, so you can sort of see into the cargo hold and into the container area in the back of the vehicle. I'll take off the wheels on the other side too so you can see completely through it. And this was, you know, sort of a byproduct of design because these big kind of wheel well parts are just so huge. They leave a lot of open space. I used some old school fence pieces in here to fill that gap a little bit, but it doesn't close it off. So visually you can see through it, and I love that. I really love that feature. Again, I think it makes it feel like a real Rock Raiders set. I feel like that's something that a LEGO designer in the 90s would have done. So yeah, it's just cool. I love this build. I'm really proud of it. So yeah, I mean, the response that I've gotten on that short makes me kind of want to do some more Rock Raiders stuff in the future. So let me know if there's any particular vehicle type that you guys are interested in seeing me tackle as a new MOC. I know that there's basically all sorts of vehicles in the original Rock Raiders sets. There's walkers, there's planes, there's a boat, and then their base, of course. So lots of different options. Let me know in the comments what you're interested in seeing, and who knows, you know. I love this theme. Now that teal is brought back from the dead, as it has been for several years now, there's a lot more parts to work with for the Rock Raiders palette. So definitely some more interesting things that can be done as far as MOCs go. So yeah, let me know what you're interested in seeing. Let me know what you think of the Heavy Crauler, and thanks so much for watching. And I just want to say again, to everyone who commented and liked my short on this build, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It really means a lot, and I'm glad you guys like the build as much as I do. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.